And domestic operators under the umbrella of the Airline Operators of Nigeria have faulted plans by the outgoing Minister of Aviation, Senator Sirika, to launch the operations of Nigeria Air today, despite a restraining court order on the controversial project. As a result, the AON lawyers have written a letter to the President Muhammadu Buhari asking him to stop the minister's attempt to circumvent the court orders on Friday, being the last working day of this administration, and possibly to cover up the various infractions of Nigerian laws, among other such allegations. Chika and Mbonu, Airlines business analyst, joins me now in the studio to discuss this. It's good to have another Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. We
count down.
We can use the Friday.
Calm down.
I'm beginning to see the way folks have...
Calm down.
Will
I ride with your PJ to Abuja for the inauguration?
No, I'm minding my business here. I'm in suit. Okay. I leave all that to you folks dressed in national attires. I'm sure it's going to be a celebration of attires and all of that. It's going to be a very big day.
I've started my own. I'm wearing almost green, national colors.
Oh, you're compliant. Well, so how are you flying? Nigeria Air? Are you flying Nigeria Air on Monday?
Interesting times. You know, the Minister Sirika had a 5-point, aviation reforms programs that he wanted to initiate. One of them happens to be the emergence of a national carrier. Now, I'm going to skate around it, basically, because I know this is being litigated, because my focus, basically, is on the importance of a national carrier.
Airlines.
Yeah. There are about 10 or 11, if you count in Rano Air that just got their AOC and started flying. There are about 10, 11 airlines that are flying now. Now, if you count their fleet, maybe max 50 aircraft for a nation of 200 million people. So there's a paucity of airlines or aircraft. No wonder when you go to some of these airports, it's almost a boxing match. As I'm talking to you now, I have about 8 unused tickets, that have to do with the fact that the flight has been scheduled for 7:30 in the morning. And as I get into the airport, they inform me that it's been shifted to 5 p.m. in the evening, and from 5 p.m. in the evening to 12 midnight. And so those of us who
you got to buy another
you don't have a PJ, you have to start buying other things. So Nigeria aviation system needs actually to be properly restructured. The issue is capacity. I keep telling a lot of the airlines that with 10 domestic airlines at the international airport, they all have their airline manager, human resource manager, financial controller, handlers, ticketing sales officer. If you go to Port Harcourt Airport, the same thing, all of them have the same thing. If you go to Kano Airport, all of them have the same thing. For 50 aircraft max. So there has to be consolidation.
The spread
thin. And if you go into Abuja in the morning, there are about 10 of them have 7:30 flight to Abuja from Lagos. And a lot of them, the load factors for some of them is maybe less than 50%. So something has to be done to expand, make flying cheaper for Nigerians, bring more Nigerians into the flying net, make international travel cheaper for Nigerians. I mean, you know what happens when you're going to London now.
Yes.
The tickets will pay to London.
But Nigeria Air, is it about local flights or domestic flight or more of international?
Local, moving then to international because of capacity, and the ability to negotiate better deals. If you go to some of these African countries, you rather be ashamed that we're called the African giant because they have better organized hubs than us. So for me, those are the bigger issues than the squabble between the Minister of Aviation and the airline operators of Nigeria.
So work on Nigeria being a hub.
Nigeria being a hub, the airlines having more capacity. 2-3 aircraft. Some of them just come up on straight flying. 2 aircraft max. 3 aircraft max. And you can't have that. And then the same fixed costs. And then that's why they want to spread themselves thin, fly all the destinations in Nigeria, and then 10 flights in a day to some destinations. That's why I keep having all this cancellation and breaking the hearts of people and messing up people's schedules and so on and so forth.
And losing money.
And losing money. Some of them are, if you see I have a relationship with NCAA. If you see the financials of some of these airlines, it's a disaster. Some of them are making losses. So something has to be done. That's capacity. That's profitability in capacity. And for me, that's what I looked at.
Well, the big picture is that we talked about this over time. If Nigeria really needs a national a carrier in the air, and do we need an ocean liner as well? If we need to have a flag up there, a flag on the sea.
I don't want to call it Nigerian Air in the sense that it's managed by civil servants and so on and so forth.
Not the Nigeria Airways.
It's not the Nigerian Airways type. That symbolism that you have a very decent partner who has capacity to bring several aircrafts here. Because what happens is when an airline has two aircrafts only, and they miss their 7 a.m. slot flight, the whole schedule,
everything is dislocated.
so they don't have any spare aircraft to call on that. So that's what the issue. Well, the invitation is out today by 4 p.m. We'll see what happens after that. Because Sirika by Monday will be out of this on the continuity of government.
So this is not over yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
technically speaking.
Yes, I need to talk about this microfinance. Bank, if we have 1 minute.
I know you do. I know you do, very dear to your heart. But let's look at the first quarter GDP.
Okay. GDP. Okay.
And then
now for our viewers, people always ask, GDP, the total monetary value of goods and services produced within a geography. This geography being Nigeria at a particular time. So everything that is done in that. So anything that affects the production of activities and services affects the quality of the GDP. No wonder, therefore, that with the scarcity of naira and the currency swap affected the velocity of activities in the economy. And so the multiplier effect that you require to grow input, 1 naira input becoming 5 naira, expand the GDP did not happen.
You think that added to the existing issues of high production costs
and whatever, and that led to the fall in GDP, in GDP in Q1. The first time for some time now that has come below the 3% level. But the major issues there, would quickly take away from the GDP report. The first thing, oil. One of the contrasting issues about a GDP. That's one of the weaknesses of GDP. Now, oil contributes about 5% of our GDP.
Yes.
However, so you would just say 5% of GDP is too small.
Was a big boy.
But the big boy in the economy of the country. Yes. Remember, all our foreign exchange almost comes from oil, and so the oil that is 5% of GDP contributes about 80%-90% of our foreign exchange, and there lies in the misalignment in the Nigerian economy that we need to change.
How do we align that?
How
do we realign that?
Because of the fact CBN has started trying on that, which has to do with looking at non-oil export programs.
Yes.
They are trying to do that.
Yes.
Again, the intensity and the push to that has to happen more.
We did just about 1.8, I think 1.8 billion last year, with 1.2 billion so far this year. Mm-hmm. So we're just crashing the surface.
I've spoken about oil so much on this program. But I said if I were the president of the incoming president, I even did call it a memo to the president. One of the first things, I won't go too far away from oil.
Well, you can't be the next president now, at least. At least you have to wait another 4-8 years more. So, but then, so you gotta wait. So if you become the next president in the next, yes, okay, please, okay.
But I can't sell him.
Yes.
These are the things I'm telling him. I said, you start from what you have. My grandmother said that it is when you have something to, you don't start going to the market to go and buy food in the night. You start going to this and start looking for the pepper and onions and whatever you have around you. And what we have around is what? Is oil. Get back there. What are the issues affecting our output? From the international IOC, from the local Nigerian producers who bought off assets from the existing IOC, especially onshore assets, who are complaining bitterly. The banks have their loans unserviced. So what can we do? Now, what are the issues of security and the pipes? Remember the multiple pipes that people have plugged. I'm not surprised. I don't know whether you have your own pipe there even to siphoning the product from the mainline. Yes. So all those issues and the community issues and effective implementation of the PIA that you and me know has not been diligently implemented. So that has to be done to push up our production to what it's supposed to be.
But the incoming president's promised about 2.4 million barrels per day as a headline figure for some dates in the future. Mm-hmm. But very quickly, before we let you go this Friday, the whole 100 and something, almost 180 microfinance banks.
That story, this is very important.
Yeah, and I hope that
CBN understands the import of this, what they have done. Because you see, in the financial inclusion program they are driving,
yes,
the microfinance banks, the finance companies, and the mortgage banks are very important elements of it.
Yes.
For a lot of people who are on the bottom of the pyramid and a lot of financially uninformed, once they see those names, they go and bank in them.
But the financial regulator says
and
they've not been performing.
Yes, and I have a feeling that they have not been diligently supervised. So you find a lot of people set up their microfinance bank, and suddenly they remember they have to do timber processing, collect depositors fund, and start processing timber from there. Or they just see real estate deals and start entering there. And suddenly you find people's money.
You're not saying we should go back to the days of setting up a separate supervisor for primary mortgage, for microfinance.
Exactly, because
that's not what you're advocating.
You know, I said on CBN plate, there's so many things. 2730 banks, multiple branches supervise. Then you have all these microfinance banks.
Thousands of them.
Yeah, some of them, they're not I don't think they're supervised. The reports don't come regularly. Even the management teams that set up, most of them resigned or they're not really there. So the confidence, and that's the point I'm trying to make. The distrust it creates. Okay, it creates for the citizens of the country who lose their money in this ancillary financial institutions.
Well, perhaps they need to be pruned down to become more efficient, rather than having so many
of them
that are not efficient. Well, you need to go. It's a Friday. You got a whole weekend ahead of you.
Thank you.